How's it going, Sha?
Oh, you know what? Not bad. Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I am enjoying the last of a couple days off that I feel like I needed. Very happy.
Oh yeah. What does
Yeah.
a day off look like for you?
So I make it a point to not do anything comedy or landlord related.
Oh, okay. Full day off.
Yeah, like I do not do any, like I'll do, the only responsibilities I'll do are family. Like
Mm,
if I need to buy something for the house, a kid needs something, yeah, that's always gonna win. But like, if there ain't no emergency, I ain't doing it for the house.
mm.
Like if I gotta like throw out the trash or something, that's a given, stuff like that. But like, uh, yeah, like anything that I had planned for the house, it could wait for the next day.
Okay.
And same thing with jokes and stuff. Like I have my office downstairs. I don't go downstairs to do anything those days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see the room. I don't want to. I don't respond to emails that day. I don't want to hear about jokes. Like nothing. I need 2 days, 3 days of like none of that. And
so,
it's only because like I did the math. Like I looked at my calendar and I went 53 days straight of doing at least two stand-up shows, hosting or doing the sugar, which was an
oh,
hour-long show. So
right.
like it like I love performing and I'm very grateful that that many people and shows would book me. But like I did start to feel it towards the end of like, oh, this is a lot. Like
Yeah.
I usually get like a day or two off every week and I just didn't. I had like a show or two every night of like hosting or doing the hour. And
Mm-hmm.
on the days that I did stand up, I had 3 sets each night. A blessing, sincerely. I don't want
Right.
to say like I'm ungrateful for it, but like I felt it. Like I was like, oh, this is a lot. And
Yeah.
it just so happens that like I had 2 days in a row that like I didn't have booked and I made it a point to add a third.
Mm.
And like I was like, let me just take 3 days of like chilling for a bit. So yeah, it's been legitimately beautiful. I didn't go downstairs until today since Sunday night.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was like straight up like 3 days of like, yeah, nah, I need peace.
That's good for you.
Hmm.
So, and I understand part of that is because you did the sugar for a full month.
Yeah, that was a big
So,
part of it.
yeah, so then everything else that you're offered just kinda gets pushed into the other days.
Yeah.
And, but, like, will you try to make a point of, like, "Okay, this day of this week, I do nothing." Or was that something that you did before? Like, because
Yeah,
I
I
am.
try to I try to give myself 1 day every 2 weeks of nothing
Mhm.
and 1 day on the other week of no stand up, but I'm still willing
Okay.
to work that day. Like I'll do like a video or a podcast, but I want to stay home.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of enough, like for me, and it's not the same for everybody, obviously, but
Right.
like thankfully what we do, I enjoy it. So it doesn't always feel like work. It doesn't feel draining to go do.
Mhm.
But in this particular case, it was exhausting more so because I didn't take that 1 or 2 days.
Right, right.
And so much of my energy was also working on a very new thing.
Mhm.
And that's like a different kind of exhausting than just stand up to me,
Yes, right, exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I'm the kind of person where I need, if I have a weekend off, I need one of those days to stay in my bed the whole day and not like on some old not on some old, like, depression thing or anything. I need a day to because I am an introvert. So when
Right,
you see me in the streets, and you come up and say something to me, my response will seem muted, but
right.
that's literally where my energy is. I'm not high energy. And I don't become high energy unless I'm around people who feed my energy. So people that I
Mm,
want to be around. Um, so I need and my job is I do have to go in a few days a week and I'm answering phones and cleaning up after folks and getting things ready and whatnot. So I'm kind of moving around and I have to deal occasionally with strangers and or vendors or anything like that. And then if I'm lucky, I've got uh shows, and then,
Mm,
classes where I'm, having to interact with 9 to 12 people once a week or whatever. So I try
right.
to whatever weekend day that I have the classes on the other day, hopefully, I can stay in bed that whole day. Now, I may still end up having shows that night, but I'm like, if I'm just in bed this whole day though,
Yeah, yeah,
and I can summon up enough energy to go do this thing at night and then come back, but it's harder to do things for myself.
yeah. I
Yeah.
get that. Like, that's normally enough for me. But like with the amount of days I did in a row, like
Yeah.
that still was there came a point like about the 30-day mark where like that's not cutting
Mhm.
it. Like I needed a day or two of like not going out and also not thinking about shows. Like the first day I had off, Gabby started laughing at me because on multiple occasions I was sitting on my seat in the living room,
Mhm.
and I would have like a mini panic attack of thinking I had something to do.
Right.
And then I'd remember that I didn't, and I would have the deepest, most like relaxing exhale ever. And that happened multiple times. And she was
Right.
like, she's like, each time it scares me, and then I get so happy for you that you make the realization. And like it happens all like by yourself there in like 2 seconds.
That's
But like,
so funny.
yeah, just because like it was so many days in a row that like I would be like, there's no way I have this much time to sit. Like
Mhm.
something's due somewhere, you know.
Right,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, like just it happened like 3 or 4 times that day that I was just sitting down and I'd jump and then like I'd relax instantly and take like a huge exhale and like you'd see that all on me and she was like, That's crazy, Gastor." But
Yeah.
but yeah, I've definitely been appreciative of it. With that said, I'm happy. You know, I'm back on the grind today. But yeah, I needed those days. They're vital. I think again, mental health stuff. I think is huge on all fronts of whatever your profession is. I'm gaining a bigger and bigger appreciation of it. So yeah, try my best to kind of just be self-aware of like, yo, you need a break, take a break. Um, it's it, it it's a huge perk of doing what we do that
Mm.
we don't talk about enough. Like we can say no to stuff. You know, like it's wild
Yeah.
to think of that. Like I know there's so, especially early on, there's such a like a urge to say yes to everything because not a lot of things are offered at first.
Right,
But you
right.
know, you do have the privilege of also saying no that like I didn't have at my jobs. You know, like the
Yes,
job is what
exactly.
was given to you, you do. So, you know, you gotta leverage that sometimes. Say, hey, I can't do that this weekend. Keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I have now started looking ahead to what I do have coming up because I have some things where it's, like, immediate. I know what's happening in this week, and it's a lot. And then there are some things where I'm like, "Oh, I have to do a lot in 6 weeks." Like, I have a lot to do that particular week, but it's, half a month away or whatever. And then someone will ask me to do something, and I look at my schedule, and I could do it, but I also will know I had to, like, go, "Yeah, but you'll be coming off of this, 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 and this. Why add to it when you know you like, don't this looks like it's the only free day you have, so you could do it or you could chill." And I've had to start saying, "Yeah, no, I'm not available that day. Can we push it to another time, or can we is there another date that you have?" Like, that kinda thing. 'Cause I 'cause I will if I see a blank spot on my calendar, I'll go, "Yeah, I can do that,"
Right.
not knowing how I feel. And so now I'm just like, "You know what? I'm gonna guess on that day I'm tired." And even if I'm not tired, I'm gonna pretend that I will be tired.
Yeah.
I bet when I get there, I'll be tired though, judging by the other things I have that week.
Yo,
Like,
straight up. Like, Gastor in the future be hating today's Gastor.
yeah, I'd
Like,
have no force. I'm just so hard on future Shalewa.
yo, like way
So,
too much pressure.
yeah, so
Present
I
day Gastor be looking at past Gastor like, yo, you was a jerk, my G. How you gonna throw all this on one day on me? Yo, you crazy.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I
I'm
had
trying to
to,
be nicer to that guy.
yeah, I had to, like, reschedule or turn something down because it will happen after I come back from Australia, which I actually have to come back and hit the ground running because there are some things I have to do that I cannot cancel on.
Yeah.
But I know my body ain't going to be right. And it would have been scheduled on the day that I need to get my body right. And I was like, nah, that's get right day. I can't do it that day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I, like doing that kind of thing. Cause sometimes I look back to like pre-COVIDian times
Yeah.
at what I was doing and how I was running and moving. And I'm like, who is that? Why would she do all that? That's insane. What was wrong with her? What's she running from? So like, but that's the thing is when you start to get some work with comedy, you don't want to turn it down because comedy is a weird thing where somehow it's built in. It makes you believe that you won't, if you say no, you'll never get a chance again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to say yes. And I see that sometimes in like old timers who are still doing things. And I'm like, I don't know if you have to do that.
Yeah, yo.
You're okay. But it's a totally different mindset. And it's funny because of my age, that's kind of what's happening with work in general. I think
Mm,
people younger than me are looking at work in a different way where they're like, no, I'm not going to let you run me ragged. So they are putting things in place so that they are not run ragged by the job.
that's
But
dope.
my generation and above, I may be the last generation to kind of be feeling that. Like, if I say no, I'm out on my ass with no work.
Right.
And I am trying to battle through that to get to where I want to go, like just creatively. You know what I mean? Like, in order to
Mm.
do things that I want to do creatively, I have to let go of like well, if I leave this opportunity aside, I can't do the day job or the day job won't let me. And so I got to pay the bill, there's a certain amount of faith that comes with also deciding that you're not going to let your job run you ragged.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have that faith yet. And so I'm kind of on both sides. Like, I absolutely see the point, but I'm also of like, yeah, don't let them like do that to you. I'd tell that to anyone who asked me for any advice or told me about any kind of job that was rough on them. I'd be like, you don't have to. There are options, but I don't necessarily feel that for myself. So I'm just like, "Ugh," yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about lately of just like how to fully tip myself into that belief when what you've always been told and taught, and what you've known is the scarcity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
it's
know.
a it's a important self-assessment to make regularly, I
Mhm.
think. Because I don't think it's easy. At least not for, to your point, I think a certain generation. I think I'm part of that. I definitely struggle with that idea. I also have other reasons. Like I have kids, I have a wife that like need me to
Right.
make money. And so like that's a big part of it. I think I told you on the pod even. I went into February, and I remember in
Oh, right.
mid-January, I was like, I'm gonna take February off. I'm only gonna focus on the sugar, and like if a gig that I can't say no to offers it to me, I'll take it. And in my heart of heart shot, I swear I only said yes to those type of gigs. But apparently they got offered every day. like
Right, yeah.
like and like so a couple things, right? So like on the one hand, like that told me that my rep and my profile must be going up, right?
Right,
Because the gigs that I was being offered sincerely were gigs that I felt up until recently I have to take these type of gigs.
right,
They were
yes.
like spots that like I'd wanted for a while at shows I'd wanted to be on, or
Mhm.
club spots, things of that nature that like I couldn't turn down.
Right.
Um and I felt like I was trying to build the rep and go into those spaces.
Mhm.
With that said, like if I have 24 days that I'm not doing the sugar that month, and all 24 of them have 2 to 3 spots a night. I
Right.
have to start looking at what my parameter is for a must-do show now. You
Yes,
know,
right.
like that doesn't make sense. Like I'm doing an
Yeah.
hour show 4 days of that month, and the other 24 days I'm only taking must-do shows, and I had 3 must-do shows every night. That can't be right. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
math don't math no more.
Yeah.
So like,
These aren't all great shows. They can't be. What?
yeah. And like, and again, like in my heart of hearts, I think I would have viewed each show as a great show last year. But
Yes.
like my bar has to change now. Like I'm doing, I'm getting better work, and I think that's a blessing. I'm getting paid more. That's a blessing. But like in turn, I have to change that bar because I need to treat myself like I matter,
Mhm.
and because I want to do this for longer. And like, so I got to add a new barometer to protect myself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up saying yes to everything forever because they're all pretty good gigs,
Right.
and you know, like it gets tough, and that's how you end up working 53 days in a row. And yo, that's just crazy. Yo, oh God, I worked on New Year's this year.
Right.
I worked on my anniversary to end last year. Worked
Yep.
on New Year's this year. Worked on my
Mhm.
wife's birthday this year. Worked on Valentine's Day this year. Worked on my daughter's birthday this year. All
Oh,
and every
shit.
and those are days I don't want to work. And I
Right.
swear the comedy gods are testing me because on those were all my highest paid gigs.
Oh, wow.
Sincerely, like if you look at the like dollar for dollar, it was
Yeah.
so obscene the difference between those days and the other days that like each time I had to like talk with my wife, like, yo, shorty, like, you tell me what to do. You know, and like, and she's like, nah, we gotta eat. And she sent me out. But like next year, like I'm not doing that shit twice. Like, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
yeah.
can't bite those emotional bullets over and over again. So
Mhm.
like I have to like start weighing that. So we got through like, admittedly, it was a tight moment for like February. So I was more inclined to say yes to those gigs.
Right, right.
But I don't want to make that a habit. And I definitely don't even want that out there in terms of like my bookers and my manager to know that like, yo, he don't give a fuck about family. That dude he'll get the money every day. That's crazy. That's not me, you know? And it's probably the
Yeah.
first year I've worked on those days, but I worked on all of them this year, which is wild to me.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, so here's what I say to you. New Year's, Valentine's Day, hell, Mother's Day, all them shits. Work those shits. Work the calendar holidays.
Okay. I like that.
Birthday personal ones, birthdays,
Yeah.
anniversaries, things like that, that you can't really make up. Don't
Yeah,
work
that makes
those.
sense.
Yeah, but fucking Valentine, who gives a fuck about Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I'm
Anything
with you.
that, you could give them candy on the 13th or on the 16th or whatever, like, it'll be alright, you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm with you. We do
Yeah.
M&Ms here every year. So
Oh, that's
uh
right, yeah, so,
yeah,
like,
like
that's
we got the
very
emotional
funny.
part of it I nailed, thankfully. But yeah, like it was just the fact of it that I looked at, I was like, oh, like I've been doing this 10, 11 years and I've never worked on any of these days. And this year I worked all of them. Like that's wild, you know? So like I really, and like to your point, like it's one of those things where like I feel like we can't say no. And like
Mhm.
I felt like it was like a early test of like, yo, you're gonna start getting some blessings, but you gotta figure out like your
Right, yes.
priorities, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
um,
that's
you know,
how
so
I feel as well. It's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna throw some stuff at you.
yeah, see where your
Are
head's
you
at and
gonna"
see how you
Yeah,
handle it.
and I just have to remind myself all the time. I just have to sit and go, "Well, I didn't really move here to run an office." Be
That's real.
'Cause I'd be better at it. If that's what I was supposed to do, I'd be better at that, but I am not good at it. So, you
Real
know?
talk though, I would love for there to be like a office manager Emmys. That shit would be fire.
Yeah, well, they can, all show how good they are at, fucking organizing that shit. Let the office managers throw it for sure, but
Amen.
I would not be good at that. I mean, I'll host it. I'll help you host it.
Me and Shot getting real ones, okay?
Yeah, but I don't know if I can do the other parts.
Ship our trophies to Brooklyn, okay? We'll be here, okay? Writing more yucks.
Yeah,
That's what we
absolutely.
do. Let's get into the news.
That's why we're here.
Kick it off this week. People
Mm.
who think they're attractive are less likely to wear masks. A study shows this, right? People are less likely to wear masks to prevent COVID-19 if they see themselves as good looking, according to a survey published earlier this year.
This is
Researchers
I
at
can't. Stop. Give me a fucking break.
What's bothering you, Sha?
That is, I mean, look, it may be absolutely right. People who think they're attractive are less likely to wear masks. Sure. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Die first then. Get out of here. Get out of my face then. Fine.
Get your perfect 10s in the funeral home earlier, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. You're not so good looking now. I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. How about that?
There will be no songs written about you. Okay? You did it to yourself.
Anyway, let's see here. No, keep reading. You keep reading. We need more context before I continue to rip them a new one. These people.
Researchers asked 1,030 participants to self-evaluate how attractive they deemed themselves, how likely they were to wear a mask, and if certain situations, such as a job interview or walking a dog, impacted their willingness to wear one. The more attractive a person perceived themselves, the less likely they were to wear a mask because they thought the mask made them less attractive. Inversely, the less attractive someone found themselves, the more likely they were to wear a mask, according to the study. The former group was less likely to hypothetically wear a mask for a job interview, while the latter group was more likely to wear a mask in that circumstance. Our findings suggest that mask wearing can shift from being a self-protection measure during COVID-19 pandemic to a self-presentation tactic in the post-pandemic era. For mundane activities such as walking a dog, people were less likely to care about their looks and thus were less motivated to wear a mask. But those who see themselves as attractive were still more likely to feel the need to make a good impression.
And get the fuck out of here.
Yo.
Okay. Look, I can't imagine the mindset of, and this is my problem. I can't imagine the mindset of just like, I am so good looking. Why would I cover up all this with a mask? Why would I do that? That's wild to me. Now,
the world gotta see me, Sha.
I say that to say I have never fully found myself attractive, right? No one I don't want no ahs. I'm working through it. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. That's what I am. I'm perfectly fine. There's no place in the room for anywhere for perfectly fine.
Okay.
But I also am trying to live. I'm not trying to catch whatever's out there, right? So that doesn't mean I'm not vain. I care about my appearance. I'm always doing a thing. Real correspondents and troops will know. I've said this many times. I am always doing a thing. I am always making sure the mask goes whatever the thing is that I'm doing.
Okay.
There's no thought to just not wearing a mask because you think you're pretty. Get the fuck out of here. You're kind of dumb then. You're kind of dumb. You're kind of dumb.
We don't need you, okay?
Yeah. I mean, and they're like, you're less likely to care about how you look if you're walking a dog. That's on y'all. I care how I look every time I go out there. Every
Speak
time.
About yourself, okay?
Yeah, that's you. Even if I've thrown on like house clothes, like wild looking house clothes, before I leave, I look in the mirror and I will have accidentally pulled together something actually kind of tight. And I'm like, well, will you look at that? And then I put on a mask and I go out there. Or if I know I'm going into another place. Right now, I will take off the mask for fresh air, not because everybody got to see my mug, but because I'm trying to breathe again. Just the science behind people who consider themselves good looking. I don't care. I think I'm done caring about what the attractive people think. Get them the fuck out of my way. I'm done with you. I'm done looking at you. I'm done being upset that I don't look like you. I'm done fighting others for your attention. I don't give a fuck about you. Get out of here. You and a mirror go hug up somewhere. We got business. It's so ridiculous.
Listen, if you didn't know, the war report is strictly for 7.5s and down. And just in general, okay? We don't cater to pretty people, okay? Just not what we here for, okay?
No,
Pretty people don't want to hear news. Pretty people don't do funny. I don't think
no, pretty people don't do funny.
they don't.
Which isn't necessarily true, but
it's close.
There are very attractive people doing comedy right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're also real dark. There's something wrong with them. Something happened. Something happened, or else they wouldn't be on that stage.
Somewhere
they're ugly somewhere. They're ugly somewhere.
Straight up, unique. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
If you
I don't think pretty people art in general. So
they don't. They sit for the art.
Yeah,
they sit for the art. They're not the artists. Get out of here. I've spent my whole life making do with some wild looking people. And that's a talent. That also means that if you give me a can of beans and some weird kind of meat, I'm going to make something out of it.
Amen.
You know what I mean? I'm going to figure something out. We'll cobble something together.
Ask a pretty person to do that.
Yeah, they don't know what to do. All they know how to do is flip the menu over. Get the fuck out of here.
Ain't seen a Foreman grill in your life, okay?
Nope.
We in different places.
Yeah.
In other news, with more lunar missions on the horizon than ever, the European Space Agency wants to give the moon its own time zone. This week, the agency said space organizations around the world are considering how to best keep time on the moon. The idea came up during a meeting in the Netherlands late last year, with participants agreeing on the urgent need to establish a common lunar reference time, said the space agency's Pietro Giordano, Navy navigation system engineer. Joint international effort is now being launched towards achieving this. For now, a moon mission runs on the time of the country that is operating the spacecraft. European space officials said an internationally accepted lunar time zone would make it easier for everyone, especially as more countries and even private companies aim for the moon, and NASA gets to set these and to send astronauts there. NASA had to grapple with the time question while designing and building the International Space Station, fast approaching the 25th anniversary of the launch of its first piece.
Okay. So we trying to give the moon its own time because because I don't know, Hilton hotels may go up there and build something and we need to know what's moon time.
Oh yeah, I'm pro this.
Do they have days and nights?
I would assume so, right?
I mean, I know it's going to be, it's still going to be like the sun, but like, and when they hit the sun, like based on what we're seeing and all that, but like a daily, like, I know that actually, as I say it, that sounds like a stupid question, but I mean, like,
no,
did we find the kind of life forms on the moon that rely on like a daytime and a nighttime as we know it? You know what I mean? Because that feels real cocky to just come in and say, well, here's what, we've all come together on that planet over there, and we've decided your time is this.
Nah, baby, we got our own time already.
Yeah, if there are life forms that, in the way that plants fucking come alive when the sun comes up, time lapse, and then they go lay back down when the sun goes down. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Is there something like that happens on the moon that maybe they can base it on? Also, why are we still trying to get to the moon? Didn't we, like, I don't know. Did we really do it? I'm not saying I doubt it. I'm just saying, did we really do it? Like, did we find a power source so we can plug in our fucking phones and shit? Like, what do we, it seems like a lot to worry about. Seems like a lot to worry about.
I know that the moon spins, but I think it's a different speed than the Earth spins.
Okay.
So like I assume they still have days and nights. I just don't know if they're like longer or shorter. Like does their like clock go to like 10? You know what I mean? Like they got like maybe they got like a 20-hour day. So they only go 1 to 10 twice or some shit.
Right. Yeah, like how does that? Sure, that's what I'm wondering. Things like that.
Yeah.
Have we Have we studied that? Is that what they're doing in order to figure out what the time is? I just think we should let the moon tell us what the time is.
How's the moon feeling about all this? Okay.
Yeah, it just feels so pushy to go. I mean, it just shows that nobody has learned anything from the power of the moon. The moon affects our tides. The moon affects us as people because we're so much water, and the moon affects water. And then we just gonna come in here and put a fucking, all right, y'all are moon standard time. Like, we're just gonna do that to them like the moon ain't gonna fuck us up.
I don't like that time you gave me, okay?
Yeah.
That's not how my time works here.
Did you see a recent story that was like the moon is actually starting to move away from the Earth?
No.
Hold on, let me look for it. Moon moves away from Earth.
I love that idea, like the moon's like, I'm tired of your shit. Okay? I'm gonna go to one of these. Mars needs more moons, you know?
Okay. The moon currently moves away from us at a rate of 1.5 inches a year, but that has varied over the last 4.5 billion years. But the moon is slowly moving away from us.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's happening, which is kind of wild. And probably because we keep saying shit like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna fucking put our own time on you.
We keep parking shit on it and leaving it there, you know? Disrespect. Yeah. You know what I mean? Imagine if you was in that homeowners association, okay?
With the moon?
With the moon. The moon would have mad complaints about you. Be getting fined daily.
Yeah, that's true. We are throwing a lot of trash in their yard.
Yo, no respect.
We just put a flag in there. Yeah. How many flags are on the moon right now?
Yeah, yo, crazy flags. Just spiked. All over the place. No one
Are we getting ready to send La Quinta Inn up there to put a fucking hotel? I don't think that's right. We're doing a lot to the moon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the place for our Red Roof Inn or whatever, or Howard Johnson's or whatever we're trying to put up there. That don't seem right.
If you would like to stay at the Howard Johnson on the moon, okay? All you gotta do is like, subscribe to the show, baby. You are Apple or Spotify listener. We appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You don't want to make your own waffles on the moon. Lazy, okay?
And I bet they taste. I bet the waffles taste out of this world. I am so sorry. I should just shut down right now. I should just turn it all off.
It markets itself, baby. Okay. 5 stars. You ready for this? Okay. You trying to figure out what moon fruits they're gonna put in the oatmeal in the morning at the Howard Johnson.
True.
It's gonna be great. A lot of gray.
Yeah, the color scheme is going to be real.
That's it.
It's going to wear heavy boots, wear heavy clothing. It's going to be cold. It's going to be hard to stay on
all year.
Yeah, all the time. Weighted Timbs.
If you have the articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. With all that said, I am excited to weigh under 200 pounds again, Gastor Almonte. You know what I mean? Yo, the moon got positive shot.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Jump over there. I'm floating. You know what I mean? With the head of bookings at the Howard Johnson, Shalewa Sharpe.
Yeah, I'll make sure you get into a good room. I'll make sure.
Get the presidential suite. You know what I mean? Whatever you need, she got you. This has been a customer-centric episode of The War Report. Catch y'all next time. Fluffy pillows. Peace.